Okay, everybody, Paul's Path here. It's Christmas Day. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to those who Merry Christmas, and happy holidays to those that happy holiday. Talked about step 4 yesterday, and I'm kind of tired, but it's a good tired, you know. It's not the hungover tired. It's like the fun hangover, you know. So anyway, we're going to talk about step 5. I like using the 12 and 12 for the step 5 because there's some real zingers in there. There's some real important stuff in there, you know. And first of all, I'll just read a couple of things and I'll give you my opinion, you know. Now, humility, it takes humility. We talked about this before. It takes humility for every step, okay? And in here it says, another great dividend we may expect from confiding our defects to another human being is humility. A word misunderstood. If you look up humility in a dictionary, it's not going to come up with the humility that what an alcoholic means. What humility means to an alcoholic. To those who have made progress in AA, it amounts to a clear recognition of what and who we really are, good and bad, character defects, followed by a sincere attempt, you know, willingness, right? Followed by a sincere attempt to become what we could be, you know, remove these defects of character and be useful to God and others. Therefore, our first practical move toward humility must consist of recognizing our deficiencies. No defect can be corrected unless we clearly see what it is. So it takes humility, like in step 1, 2, and 3, clear recognition of who and what I really am. Step 1, an alcoholic. And what does that mean? That means the crux of the problem is the mental state that precedes a relapse. It's not the allergy. So I'm an alcoholic, and my main problem centers in my mind before I even take that drink. Now, step 2 is what we're shooting for. Okay, we want that obsession lifted. That's the obsession, the thought that tells me I can control and enjoy my drink, and it's insanity. But we can be restored to insanity at step 2. If we go to 3 and pick door number 2, right? So it takes humility to know. Like humility, basically, you got to know the facts before you make a decision. Like if I'm going to make a decision between 2 sandwiches, I got to know what the sandwiches are first. You know what I mean? Like I have to know what an alcoholic is, and I have to know what it means to live life on a spiritual path. And if you really understand what an alcoholic is, and you really understand what life on a spiritual basis means, everybody's going to pick number 2. And that's called humility. And the decision we make in 3 to pick 1 or 2 to align our will and our life to God is humility. Okay? As simple as that. Humility's all through the book. Another one I like, probably my favorite one. It says, until we actually sit down and talk aloud about what we have so long hidden, our willingness to clean house is still largely theoretical. When we are honest with another person, sponsor, right? Mark, it confirms that we have been honest with ourselves and with God. So unless I'm honest with another person, I could be lying to myself and lying to God, which is what I did when I did step 4. They were still to blame. My ex-wife was still to blame. My father was still to blame. I wrote it all down. I took it to Mark. He rearranged it for me. And you know what he said? People said, you can't do it wrong. There's no way you can do it wrong. You just do it, write it down. You can't do it wrong, you know. So I write it all down, take a few hours, maybe half a day to do it, and I take it to him, and he looks at it and he goes, okay, you did this all wrong. You know, but I stayed sober because I was willing. See, willingness is the key. So I redid it because I'm good with numbers. I'm not good with the words. So I redid it and I passed. You know what I mean? Like and I didn't leave anything out. and I'm still sober today, 19 years. So Mark rearranged things for me. Like, I was pissed at my ex-wife because she tried to get me deported, and he goes, well, she did everything she should have did to save your child from, her child and my child from me, an alcoholic who's still drinking. Same with my dad. Okay, so humility is the key. The big spiritual awakening for me, where I really saw where my problems were was in step 5. I looked at it and I go, man, I'm to blame on all this stuff. I have stepped on the toes of my fellows, my wife, my neighbors, my father, and they retaliated. And I started it. Then I looked at these character defects. And then we're going to go to 6 and 7, which is also humility. What does that mean? I'm going to be ready to have the defects of characters removed, number 1. And number 2, I'm going to ask God to remove every single defect of character that stands in my way of my usefulness to God and others. Maybe some character defects like my drive to protect newcomers or something. Maybe that's could be a character defect, but it sure doesn't get in my way of my usefulness, So there's a little story on step 5. It's very important that you do it thoroughly and honestly as step 4. You don't leave nothing out. You go to your sponsor. You can see if he can help you, because he's already done a bunch of these steps 5s, and he's already done a couple on himself, And you need somebody to lead. You need a mentor, And then when you get through this thing, you can mentor somebody else, and all they need is hope, right? We talked about that before. So anyway, thanks for your donations, guys. Don't forget about the Sober Retreat. Man, it's going to be good. April 21st. DM me, text me, whatever, email me, call me at the 902 number. But we're going to have an unbelievable retreat for $900 and some. It includes everything, and it's paradise here. So thanks for the donation. I love you all.